Hey guys, today I wanted to do a small review of a palette that I saw very recently and decided to pick up. I am by no means a connoisseur of drugstore palettes. I basically don't really wear drugstore makeup very much, so I was curious to see what drugstore had to offer in terms of eyeshadows. I've previously been very disappointed when I was in high school and a little bit older when I was buying drugstore makeup. It never really was very high quality and never met my expectations back then. I recently saw a new palette that was for sale and I decided to give it a go and see what NYX had to offer in terms of drugstore eyeshadows. This is the box. It's called Love Contours All. Adorable. Eye and face sculpting palette. So this is supposedly a sculpting palette, which includes most of the things that you need, color cosmetics for the face. And this is what the box looks like. The box was a pleasant surprise. It's quite sturdy. It's nice, sturdy plastic. That did not at all feel cheap. Good closure. It's not a magnetic one, but it's a snap closure that is seems quite secure. Has a really nice, good quality mirror in it, quite big, easy to use. Now, I've swatched the palette itself. Let's talk about the products. We have 4 face products on the sides. This is a bronzer, a contour powder, and we have 2 highlights. One is pink toned, one is gold toned. In the middle, we have 9 eyeshadows. 6 of those are mattes. 3 of those are shimmers. So shimmery ones are this one, and this one. This one seems to have sparkle in it, but it swatches matte, so I call it matte as well. So there's this shimmery reddy brown. There is this color that resembles patina to me, and there's this rose gold. Then we have bone color that is matte. We have cool brown that is matte. We have warm brown, dark ones, both of them, that is matte. We have a charcoal black color that is quite pigmented, and we have this beautiful mauve transition color. Also, this palette comes with 2 eyebrow products. These are eyebrow powders, and both of them are consistency similar to the eyeshadows. This one is the sort of this one is sort of a light grayish, and this one is a brown. So let's go to the swatches. Here we have it. These are the shadows here. Let's go. This is the rose gold shimmer. You see it's a bit metallic rather than shimmery. This is not really shimmery. The one that looks like a bit like patina. It's not really shimmery, it's more satin. Then we have this bone color, which is a matte. Then we have a matte dark brown with a cooler undertone. Slightly peachy light color. Then we have a matte sort of brown with a dark brown with a warm undertone. We have this beautiful browny reddy color. Amazing. This one is amazing. This one's actually really good. This is this grayy, purpley undertoned color, kind of like Hoax by MAC. And this is the really rich, saturated charcoal black. Now, the quality of the shadows varies a little bit. I don't really have a bad shadow in the batch. Some of them are more smooth than others. However, I have to say that all of them are quite powdery. There's a lot of kick up when you pick up with a brush. Then you have to constantly clean the palette. It gets dusty very quickly. You have to knock the product off the brush, otherwise it's going to sort of fall down your face, and then you'll have a hard time wiping it off. So important thing to note about this one is the formula is rich, is pretty pigmented. I mean, look at the swatches. You can't really fault the swatches. Look beautiful. They blend pretty well, but they will fall down if you don't knock off the excess from the brush. So the face powders are quite interesting. Note that there's thankfully no cream products in here, because I really hate it unless they really have the compartments very separate. I really don't like when they have like the powder products and the sort of lip products or cream products for the cheeks in the same vicinity, because they just get cross-contamination and it's no fun. It's a mess. It's a mess and I don't like it. So let's talk about the powders here. These are the two brow powders. You see that they're actually very nice wearable shades, very dark brown, pretty neutral, and light brown, pretty neutral. These are the two bronzers. Here is the darker color, which I of course will use more as a eyeshadow, simply because it's too dark for my face. And this one is a fairly neutral light brown for contouring. I think it can actually be used. And then we have two blinding highlights that can also be eyeshadows. The cool one is over here and the warm one is over here. All of these are pretty smooth and reasonably blendable, but also very soft, and the powders don't have structural integrity enough to hold them together very much. I also expect that the powders are probably not super sturdy in terms of being broken. If you drop it, they are soft enough, they might crack and fall apart. Also, this lack of very good structural integrity, they're not pressed very compactly, they're a bit looser pressed, if you know what I mean. They're not very bound to each other, which makes them of course more pigmented and smooth, but also less but also more powdery. So these are quite powdery. Be aware of that. Definitely pick up with caution and then knock it off your brush. So let's talk about what I have right now tried on my face so that you have an idea of what you're looking at. I have this light contour in both my cheekbones today. I just applied it just to show you basically. I have the gold highlights on this side of the face, and I have the pink highlight on this side of the face. So you can see how reflective they are. These will highlight the texture, so I don't suggest you wear them around textured parts of your face if you can help it. They're not chunky by any means, they're quite smooth, but they are a bit more metallic than glowy. So beware, and if you do like that look, that more of a slightly metallic look to your highlight, these are great. If you like a more subtle look, then possibly that's not for you. Then on this eye in the crease, I'm wearing this darker color. Here, the darker face color, I'm wearing it as an eyeshadow. And I'm wearing the gold highlight a little bit on my lid. On this side with the cool highlight, I'm also wearing this cool highlight on my lid a little bit, and in the crease I've thrown this wonderful sort of purpley gray, very pretty color, reminds me of Max Hoax. So you can see what that looks like. The blending really wasn't very difficult at all. They blend out fairly well. I'm also thankful that they didn't stick unusable brushes inside that kit and just give us what we need to use our own brushes with it. Thank you, NYX. Don't bother with the applicators, they're never good. And so you can see that it's really easy to create an easy eye makeup look. The shadows are, again, the spread is very neutral, very wearable and usable. I think they did a fantastic job with the selection of the shades. I think it was smart to include the face shades that they included, and they didn't go for a blush. That's okay with me. They're calling it a sculpting palette, although these are colored shadows. The brow colors I think are fine. I think they will work for most people. Not all people, but this palette is not claiming. But I don't think this palette will work for all people. However, I think it's a very nice universal effort on NYX's part. I will wear it more and report back. Meanwhile, I have to say, not bad for a drugstore shadow palette. Perhaps it's not going to be my favorite, but it's definitely very decent and actually quite travel friendly if you think about bringing a palette for traveling, and the fact that, you know, you can break it, you can lose it, whatever during traveling. That happened to me before. Actually bringing a NYX palette is probably a good idea because it's not going to be a $70 Tom Ford that might get broken or lost in luggage. It's you know, a NYX that can be replaced a little bit easier. So I think overall the shade selection is great. The texture, I would give it like a 6 out of 10 just because it's pigmented and smooth and blendable, yes. But unfortunately there's fall down. The structural integrity of the shades is not perfect. They don't hold together as well. I understand brands have to make compromises, but some brands get it right. So there is room to grow for NYX. Blendability is good, like I said, and as I mentioned, you know, pigmentation is really, really good. I was very impressed, in fact, by the pigmentation of these shades in this palette. I was very happy with it. I think it's very wearable. I think good job, NYX. You did fantastic with this one. I think it's a good addition if you're looking for an all-in-all. If you're looking for a sort of all-in-one experience with NYX, I think this is very worthwhile. Would encourage you to go see it in stores or check it out online and see if those are the colors you would like. I think if you like the colors, you won't have many complaints about the actual shades. Because like I said, the quality is definitely there. So I think it's worth it. I give it a thumbs up. That's it for today. Have a good day. Bye-bye.